Start to their Premier League. His debut at the weekend. So for Newcastle United, it's Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Valentino Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, Anthony Elanga, Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes. On the bench for Newcastle United is Sven Botman, Lewis Hall and Neil Craft, Lewis Miley, Alex Murphy, Jacob Murphy, William Asula, Aaron Ramsdale, Malik Thiaw, Joe Willock, Nick Voldemade and Max Thompson. The referee for today's game is Glenn Nyberg. Starting with the hosts, it's Nick Pope in goal of a 4-3-3 formation with Kieran Trippier on the right hand side, Livramento on the left, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär playing as the two centre-backs. The midfield three is Joe Linton, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, with Harvey Barnes on the left hand side, Anthony Elanga out on the right and Anthony Gordon playing straight through the middle. With the exclusion of Jacob Murphy, that's the same front three that started the season for Newcastle United against Aston Villa. The side they beat out on goal difference at the end of last season to take this place in the competition, but it does mean that there's an option there for all three of those to change between themselves, which could cause a lot of trouble for this Barcelona defence. A 4-2-3-1 formation is what Hansi Flick has opted to go for, starting with Garcia in goal, Koundé on the right hand side, Martin on the left, Kabasi and Araujo as the two centre-backs, De Jong and Pedri as the two holding midfielders. Lopez will play behind the lone striker of Robert Lewandowski, and Marcus Rashford will start on the left hand side. He's got 8 goal contributions in 11 games against Newcastle United, including 4 in his last 6 at St James's Park. They'll be hoping that he'll be able to contribute on his return back to England, and Rafinha will start out on the right hand side as the referee calls the captains along to the middle just to do the coin toss and to make the decision on who it is that's going to get things underway for us. Barcelona playing in the peach tops and shorts, Newcastle United in the traditional black and white stripes, as Bruno Guimaraes, the captain for Newcastle, goes to the middle alongside Ronald Araujo, the captain for Barcelona. The first meeting between the two sides since 2003, where Barcelona won by 2-0, and the only time that Newcastle have got the win against Barcelona was all the way back in 1997. It was the first meeting between the two sides, and it was a 3-2 win for Newcastle United at that time. A couple of other games to tell you about that's going on in the Champions League, which I'll keep you up to date with the scores on as well. Of course, not too many implications at this early stage of the competition, but Manchester City will take on Napoli, Frankfurt against Galatasaray and Sporting against Khaira Almaty as well. The early kickoffs have finished with Club Brugge beating Monaco by 4-1, and FC Copenhagen have drawn 2-2 against Leverkusen. And now we've got Barcelona inside of their own half, just having a team huddle before they prepare to get things underway for us here at St James's Park. It is Newcastle United, currently 26th in the Champions League table, against Barcelona, currently 16th in the Champions League table. It's Newcastle that will kick off for us from right to left, as they've just finished their team huddle, as the crowd, the noise, the volume erupts here inside St James's Park in preparation for the Magpies' return back to the Champions League. In fact, Barcelona kicking off from left to right on the whistle of the referee. And as Glenn Nyberg blows his whistle, it will be Robert Lewandowski who plays this short pass back to the edge of the centre circle for Lopez. Goes all the way back to Araujo, takes a touch, and as Anthony Gordon starts the press, he plays this ball out to the left-hand side. It's given time for Rashford to make a run, but it's headed back towards his goalkeeper by Kieran Trippier. Nick Pope holds on to the ball and will get the ball away, distributes it upfield towards Anthony Gordon, headed away by Araujo, back into Newcastle's half, and it's possession now with Fabian Schär. Long ball over the top, chased down by Gordon. He can't get a touch onto the end of it. It's gone all the way through. It's going to be chased down still by Koundé, just outside of his own area. Plays it short back to his goalkeeper. High press there from Gordon. He's forced to play the ball to his left, which is almost into the path there of Harvey Barnes. And as Barcelona struggle to clear the lines, Anthony Gordon makes a run into the area, goes down to ground. Wants a penalty. It's going to be a goal kick instead given by the referee. It was a well-timed pass by Sandro Tonali. Barcelona struggled to clear the lines on that left-hand side. Kabasi got the ball away, but it was straight into the path of the Newcastle United midfielder. I think the referee's got the decision correct there. There's no penalty in that for me. We have just heard from VAR and they agree there's no penalty. It was a battle of strength between Harvey Barnes and Kabasi. It was the Barcelona defender that came out better off. So the goal kick taken by Garcia deep into Newcastle's half, headed away by Dan Burn up towards the halfway line. It's controlled well by Guimaraes. Plays the ball out to the right-hand side for Trippier. 10 yards down the line, gets the ball to Elanga, who feels like he's been fouled, but the referee was prepared to blow his whistle, but instead allowed play to continue. And the ball's been played to the right-hand side now for Rafinha, onto the edge of the area. Plays it across to Pedri. Pedri lines one up onto his left foot, and it drifts just wide, and it's going to be a goal kick now to Newcastle United. Sandro Tonali just goes over to the referee to question his thought process in not offering and giving Newcastle the free kick that was requested from Anthony Elanga. Let's have another look to determine whether I felt that was a foul or not, but the referee's allowed play to continue, and the goal kick's taken by Pope, again back into Barcelona's half, headed away by Araujo, but a little nudge in the back there of Joel Linton first, and it'll be a free kick to Newcastle United inside of Barcelona's half, just outside of where the centre circle is. Across goes Valentino Livramento, places the ball down, steps away, and Kieran Trippier will be the one to come across and take this free kick from the right hand side as Dan Burn and Fabian Schär make their way into the area. They are two of only three players that have scored inside of this Newcastle United side that have scored in the Champions League previously. The third is Joel Linton. Trippier's long ball towards the back post, makes a bounce all the way through to Dan Burn, back into the middle, and away it goes by Koundé, taking no chances. Again to the edge of the area and flicked on and away by De Jong, down to the left hand side where Rashford makes a breakaway. The tackle's in by Tonali, and he punched the ball into the crowd to give Barcelona a throw, but it allows Newcastle defensively to regroup. On that left hand side it'll be a throw in for Barcelona. Gerard Martin will go across and take from 6-7 yards outside of the area on that left hand side. Rashford's his option down the line. Any other channel is actually being cut out at the moment, but the referee is just discussing something with Pedri and Joel Linton in and around the centre circle. He's told the two to leave each other alone. Immediately after, Joel Linton goes across to Frankie de Jong. Martin still searching down the line, plays it short to de Jong, gets the ball immediately back, and then back it goes to Kabasi. Cross into the 6-yard box there to his goalkeeper, and back to Kabasi again, and Barcelona still under a lot of pressure at the moment as the closing down from Elanga works. Gives Barcelona a throw-in, but it's equal now with the 6-yard boxes again. A roar of support from these Newcastle supporters that are more than happy with this high press that they're seeing from Newcastle United and the players at the moment. Going taken by Martin Short, gets the ball back, now across to Kabasi, across the face of goal very dangerously, but he gets all the way through to Koundé, down the right-hand side for Rafinha. First time ball switches this across to Marcus Rashford, but Kieran Trippier's on hand to control the ball and gets there ahead of Rashford. Plays this ball back to Dan Burn, whose immediate ball out to the left-hand side for Livramento. He's put behind and out of play for a throw-in by Koundé. Taken by Livramento, short to Guimaraes, ball back to Livramento, but he's dispossessed and it's a breakaway for Barcelona on the right-hand side with Rafinha. Dribbles this back inside and takes another step to take it past another player. And he's crossed to the left-hand side to try and find Marcus Rashford. He's cut out by Newcastle defensively and they win the ball back. And now it's with Livramento on the edge of his own area. Into the middle now for Guimaraes. Has space on the right-hand side for Trippier. It's forced him to stop his run slightly, but he still maintained possession. Out to the right-hand side now for Elanga. Up to the 6-yard box. Takes it into the area. Plays it across the middle for Gordon, who it's gone between his legs and it's gone all the way through from the 6-yard box. He'd found himself in some space. All he needed to do was make contact with the ball. And it's now with Barcelona on the right-hand side, still just outside of their area at the moment. Koundé goes across to Araujo, now to Kabasi on the edge of the area. Kabasi back through the middle for Araujo. Just outside of the area now, some space to move away up towards the halfway line. Goes short to de Jong instead, and back to Araujo. Now Harvey Barnes will close him down. Short pass out to Koundé, where the space is opened up from Harvey Barnes pressing. Barcelona still with possession, still deep inside their own half though, and they're only forced to go one way. They're struggling to get the ball outside of their own half at the moment. Pass down the line now from Martin. Finds the feet of Rashford, who's had to come quite deep into his own half to grab possession. The clearance away now from Martin. Comes off of Ilanga's foot. And it will be another throw-in for Barcelona from around the 6-yard box. It's a great breakaway from Ilanga just moments ago. And into the middle it goes for Gordon. There will not be the only one that's surprised that Gordon hasn't made contact with that pass, is what I'll say about it. Martin with the throw-in now. He's about 10 yards on taking the throw-in and throws it down his line, but it's dispossessed and intercepted there by Guimaraes. Now to Joe Linton, back to Bruno, through the middle, finds some space here, chance for Barnes, chips it over the keeper, it's taken a touch and gone wide. It was going to be a corner for Newcastle, but the flag's gone up now to indicate that Harvey Barnes was offside. It's a lovely build-up play by Newcastle United. They're really taking this game to Barcelona at the moment. Yeah, he definitely made the run a slight second too early. It was saved well by Garcia. That'll be a free kick to Barcelona from around the penalty spot. A little bit to the left-hand side. Garcia again is looking for a short option. He does have Kabasi to his left-hand side inside of the area. But again, Newcastle lying in wait at the moment. Short pass to his right to Araujo and back to Garcia. Now out to the left-hand side for Kabasi. Ilanga closes him down and almost wins possession back by the corner flag. Gordon does. Back to Ilanga now onto the edge of the area. Slide tackle knocks the ball away from Bruno Guimaraes, but Trippier gets there first. With a ricochet off of Lopez. Wins Newcastle United a throw-in on the right-hand side. Still inside of Barcelona's half. It's Trippier with the throw-in about 10 yards inside of Barcelona's half there. Plays it short to Bruno Guimaraes. Back to Trippier again. Now to Fabian Schär. All the way back to his goalkeeper. Nick Pope now from just inside of his area goes route one with his clearance, and it's headed away by Kabasi up towards midfield and controlled well by Joe Linton. Now to the left-hand side for Livramento. Livramento finds the run there of Harvey Barnes. Wide on the left-hand side. Through ball towards Gordon's blocked out. Throwing now on the left-hand side for Newcastle again. Taken quickly by Livramento. Now to Dan Burn. Takes the ball back into his own half with a pass to Fabian Schär just inside of the centre circle. And Newcastle United just holding on to possession and now starting to be a bit more patient with the passing. Now Livramento, now to Gordon, back to Livramento, across the middle it goes, nobody's there, and it's held on to by Garcia. Well, the opening 10 minutes, if you are just joining us, it is Newcastle 0, Barcelona 0. However, Newcastle have definitely been the better of the two sides, and with the momentum they've got behind them with the Newcastle support, it's easy to see why, as it's rolled out now by Garcia. Rashford lets it run, but he's got plenty of space down this left-hand side now. It's a race between him and Trippier. Takes it into the area, a couple of step overs from Rashford, sends it goalwards. Just wide. And you'd like to think after he's done all the hard work of getting into that position, he'd more than likely hit the target, but he's dragged it wide. He's tried to beat Pope at his near post, and it's hit the side netting. It's a throw out from Garcia, and I think Trippier will feel quite regretting in how he's just approached that long ball out to Rashford. He should have, with his experience especially, got there ahead of Barcelona winger. Rashford letting that run put the Newcastle and England fullback off guard. Goal kick now for Pope. Pope up towards the halfway line. Just passes the halfway line, headed out though by Marcus Rashford, and it's a throw from just inside of Newcastle's half out on that right hand side now. Trippier goes across to take it. Goes it inside to Tonali. And back to Burn. Going across to Schär. Schär all the way back to Nick Pope now outside of his area. Pope switches this to Livramento by the touchline on the left hand side. Still inside of Newcastle's half. Finds some space here for Joel Linton. There's a run being made there by Barnes. Blocked by Koundé and it falls to De Jong. Now to his left hand side for Lopez. Lopez has options either side of him. Goes out to the right. Just outside of the area. It's brought down by Rafinha. Takes this into the area. Tries to thread it through for Lewandowski, but it's into the arms of Nick Pope, who comes out to the edge of his 6-yard box to collect. Lewandowski was equal to the run as it made its way in. Rolled out by Pope to his right hand side now for Fabian Schär. Further to Trippier. Over the top it goes towards Gordon. Up in the air, headed by Kabasi. Gordon loses his footing. Otherwise, I think he might have fancied his chances of being through on goal with the keeper at that point. It's into the arms of Garcia at the penalty spot. Puts the ball to his feet. Plays it out to the right hand side now for Koundé. Koundé through the middle. First time clearance away by Pedri. Pedri out to the right hand side. That's Koundé still. Now Rafinha. Rafinha goes into the tackle with Joel Linton and wins his side of throwing on the right hand side. 3 minutes ago it was all Newcastle. Barcelona now starting to find some rhythm themselves. He's walking away towards the halfway line is Araujo. Feels like he may have taken a bit of a knock in that late pass. Now it's with Rafinha, first touch inside. It's possessed again by Joel Linton. Now to Livramento all the way back to Pope. Pope has to put onto his unfavoured left foot, gets the clearance away anyway. Livramento heads it on. Gone inside to Joel Linton, but we've got Livramento down on the ground at the moment as Newcastle continue playing, and it's with Guimaraes on the right hand side, but the referee stops things, much to Guimaraes' disappointment. But Livramento's down, holding on to his head, so with a head injury we are forced to bring a stop to things here at St James's Park. It's definitely been a good start for the home side. Barcelona starting to get themselves into the game a little bit now, but Newcastle have definitely been the better of the two sides. Only one goal to tell you about in the 8 o'clock games in the Champions League, and that is Galatasaray now leading Frankfurt by 1-0. Otherwise, it's goalless between Manchester City and Napoli, and Sporting against Kara Almaty. Just wait to see what the situation is with Tino Livramento. Some good options defensively on the bench. Lewis Hall is there in case he's needed. Livramento's kept him out of the first team since Lewis Hall missed the majority of the second half of last season through injury. He's struggled to get himself back into this starting lineup. Might also be a big story if Max Thompson comes off the bench. Spent last year on loan in League 2 at Chesterfield. Now on the bench for Newcastle United as third choice goalkeeper against Barcelona. The difference 12 months can make. Livramento is now back to his feet and is helped to the side by the physio. Looks like he will be able to re-enter the game in just a moment's time as the referee drops the ball for Bruno Guimaraes inside of the centre circle, and he plays the ball back to Fabian Schär, and Newcastle will now get things back underway as Livramento is welcomed back onto the field. Long ball over by Schär. Schär comes to the edge of his area, lets it roll into his area, almost past him as well. Holds on to the ball. There's this out now to Koundé. Goes down by Tino Livramento. The ball down the line from Koundé from the edge of his own area, takes a touch off of Livramento and goes out for a throw. But that should indicate just how high this press is from Newcastle United. Livramento on the edge of Barcelona's half, closing down their right back to allow Harvey Barnes to cut out the channel through the middle. The throw-in is taken, it's a hooked clearance that requires a header further away, but it's fallen to Tonali, now to Gordon, into Elanga, tackle's made, but it's still on the right-hand side, inside of the area at the moment, chipped over towards the back post, brought down by Harvey Barnes, still inside the area, tries to beat Koundé, cross comes in, it's blocked, and it's out of play for a Newcastle corner. We'll get our first corner of the evening, and it'll be for Newcastle on the left-hand side. I don't think Elanga knew much about the pass that was being made back to him, but as the tackle was made there by Araujo, it pushed it straight into the path on the right hand side for Kieran Trippier. And these Newcastle United fullbacks are pressing very highly at the moment. It's going to be Kieran Trippier on the left hand side to take this corner. It's going to be an in-swinging corner. Again, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär make the way up from the back and then around the edge of the 6-yard box at the moment. Harvey Barnes and Anthony Elanga lurking on the edge, but instead he's played this ball short to Livramento, back to Trippier, left footed cross is weak, it takes a block from Koundé, just thought it might have kept it in play, but the flag now goes up. I'm not sure if it's going to be given as a corner or offside. It's been given as a corner to Newcastle United, but the immediate pass back from Livramento, who came short to the edge of the 6-yard box. Found Kieran Trippier in an offside position, but the flag stayed down for that. In-swinging corner on its way again from Kieran Trippier. Might go for a different approach this time. Instead, no, goes to the edge of the area, back to Trippier again. Right foot across into the middle this time, caught by Garcia in the 6-yard box. Looks for a quick outlet. Can't find one, so he has to let the Barcelona side regroup, but it's also allowed Newcastle to regroup and regain positions defensively as he rolls this ball out to Koundé. Now inside to Pedri. Under pressure from Joel Linton, finally gets the pass off to Araujo, but has to go back towards his own goal with it. Araujo now up towards the halfway line. Chip ball over to the left-hand side, finds Rashford. Can't take the ball further down the line. He has to go back with it even still to Martin. Martin at the halfway line now to De Jong. De Jong across to Kabasi. Inside of the centre circle now, Barcelona working their way into Newcastle's half with Koundé on the right-hand side. Has to go back through the middle now with Pedri. Pedri now to Kabasi, inside of the centre circle. There's the ball 5 yards to his right for Araujo. Now into the middle for De Jong. De Jong out to the left for Kabasi. Down the left-hand side for Martin. Martin tries for a cross into Lewandowski, but it's headed away by Cher, and I don't think Lewandowski's too happy with that decision. He's just issuing a change of approach there to his full-back. And now it's back to Araujo. Into the middle. First time pass from Pedri out to the right-hand side for Koundé, but now the pressure comes from Livramento. Koundé turns the ball and goes back down the right-hand side. Finds some space here for Rafinha. Left footed cross even, over to the middle. But it gets there just before Lopez does Fabian Cher and heads this away. Up towards the halfway line. We've now got a Barcelona player down inside of the centre circle. He's slowly getting back to his feet as Rashford's right-footed cross looks for Rafinha. It takes a touch off of Fabian Cher, goes all the way through to Livramento. The header's won by Lewandowski though, and it's back with Rafinha just by the corner flag on the right-hand side. Plays it back to Koundé as Barcelona now have all players back to their feet. And through the middle it goes to Pedri. Onto the left-hand side now for Kabasi. And now De Jong, back to Kabasi. And now Pedri. Still on the edge of the centre circle. Looks to his left-hand side and finds Rashford. Now Martin by the touchline. Rashford again making the run down that left-hand side. Played inside though instead for De Jong. Now back to Kabasi. Barcelona back to the patient style. Now Rashford. And back to his left back, Martin. Now finds some more space for Pedri to open up through the middle. Has Rafinha wide right. Plays the ball to him on the edge of the area. Onto his left foot. Cross comes in towards the middle. It's headed away by Lewandowski. He tried to send it on target. The effort from Koundé goes over. It's going to be a goal kick to Newcastle United. I say that it was a header from Lewandowski. It might have been a punch from Nick Pope. They both came out for the ball together and collided. It did come off the head of Lewandowski, just as Pope came out with a fist and caught Lewandowski on the top of the head. And it is now going to be a goal kick to Newcastle United as Lewandowski indicates that he's absolutely fine. Nick Pope leaves the goal kick to be taken by Fabian Cher. Goes long, well controlled by Joel Linton inside of his own half, but then a foul committed by Pedri wins Newcastle a free kick just outside of the centre circle. I dare say that now, after 20 minutes in this game, it's pretty even between the two sides. Barcelona definitely made up for that slow start. So I think Newcastle have had the better of the chances so far though. Fabian Cher now out to Trippier. Now Elanga. Elanga in Barcelona's half. Now to Guimaraes. Where's battling at the moment with Lopez, but wins his side of throwing on that right-hand side. Across goes Trippier to take this. 10 yards into Barcelona's half on the right. Elanga's made that run down the wing. Instead he goes through the middle to Gordon, who's tried to turn and make the run and gets hit. And a free kick has been given in Newcastle's favour. Gordon tried exactly what Rashford did, and I think actually that's a great call from the referee, because whilst Pedri has been stood in the way as Gordon turned around, it looks like it could just easily have been a collision of the two players, but in the slow motion replay he's actually put his hands onto Anthony Gordon and pushed him away into the ground, and it's going to be a free kick now as Elanga is stood over this. Trippier is also stood over this. Cher and Byrne both into the area. Gordon just on the edge of the area at the moment. Quite a high line from Barcelona, actually forcing all of Newcastle players apart from Anthony Gordon a couple of yards outside of the area. After time this run really well as Trippier's cross comes in. It doesn't make it into the area, but it's headed away by Koundé. On as far as Livramento edged this into a dangerous area and a chance for a Barcelona break. Back comes Kieran Trippier to win it back for Newcastle, but Marcus Rashford was making that run down the left-hand side and almost made a breakaway. He'd got Rafinha there for support. And the referee's now given a free kick in Newcastle's favour, saying that after Trippier won the ball, Marcus Rashford tripped him, and Newcastle get a free kick for it. Fabian Schär will take it, just inside of his own half. Up towards the halfway line. So Newcastle United. Dan Burn stood a bit further higher this time. A risk with how deep Schär stood, but that long free kick goes just to the edge of Barcelona's area, and it's punted away by Rashford. It's going to be chased down now. Bit of work for Fabian Schär to do. He gets his chest to the ball and his left-footed clearance puts the ball into the stands. Barcelona win a free kick on the halfway line, but it's understandable to think that it was going to be difficult for Newcastle to do anything else as Barcelona launched a counter-attack and Newcastle defensively were massively outnumbered. Now Koundé takes the throw-in. Goes back into the middle with Pedri. Out to the right-hand side for Rafinha. Good tackle comes in from Dan Burn. It's into the middle now with Sandro Tonali. Out to the right-hand side for Elanga. Takes this into the area. Can he send it goalwards? His efforts blocked, and onto the left-hand side comes away with the ball does Lopez. Lopez gets it away. Down the line. Trippier gets there just before Rashford. And on his second attempt heads it back into Barcelona territory. Flicked on now into some space by Guimaraes. Anthony Gordon has to get himself back into an onside position before chasing after the ball. And it's allowed it to go all the way through to Garcia, just outside of his 6-yard box. He's got time, he's got space, and he can take this back up towards the halfway line. And away it goes, headed down by Schär. Out to Rashford on the left-hand side, just outside of the area. Dribbles this into the area. Can he get a shot away? No, chooses to bring it back instead. Cross comes into the middle. Joelinton struggles to get the ball away. It's taken a block as he's tried his clearance. It's back to Rashford on the left-hand side, who stops it from going out of play. Plays it back to Martin, now inside to De Jong. And now Pedri. Cross to De Jong again. Now for Araujo. On the right-hand side of defence for Barcelona. And now to Martin. Out to the left-hand side, finds some space here for Rashford on the edge of the area. Tries to beat Trippier, who wins it back for Newcastle this time. Can he get his clearance away? Down the line it goes to Joelinton, and a chance now for Newcastle to break. He's waiting for the run there from Elanga, and it's now been made. Anthony Gordon was in an offside position. Elanga is not. He takes it into the area. Across to the back post. A chance for Harvey Barnes. A fantastic block right at the end by Araujo. And it's going to be a throw-in now for Newcastle United on that left-hand side. That's a superb breakaway. Joelinton was waiting for the run from Anthony Gordon, but Barcelona's high line meant that no matter what time it was being played, Anthony Gordon was in an offside position. And then the run from out of nowhere came from Anthony Elanga on that right-hand side. Nobody tracked it for Barcelona. And Anthony Elanga certainly wasn't in an offside position. And Harvey Barnes just crept away from Koundé at the back post. The pass is pinpoint. And the effort on target is saved well. It is a Newcastle throw-in on the left-hand side. That is the best chance of the game so far. It's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle on the left. Livramento is going to take this long throw into the area. Shares forward again, as is Dan Burn. Joelinton's in there just on the edge of the 6-yard box too. Livramento goes towards Dan Burn, heading on into the middle. Can they get a shot away? No. Clearance goes to Pedri. Pedri upfield onto the right-hand side, chased down by Rafinha, but won back by Livramento. And it's going to be a free kick to Barcelona, saying Fabian Schär was impeding inside of the area. That'll allow Newcastle to regroup again. Played short to Araujo, up towards De Jong, over the top, chase down the right-hand side for Rafinha, up against Livramento, crosses blocked, out of play and behind for a corner to Barcelona on the right-hand side this time. Livramento did well to match yard for yard with Rafinha. Coming up from the back now is Kabasi. In the middle is De Jong. Sandro Tonali's there as well. Araujo's making a late run into the area. It's going to be a left-footed in swinger on its way from Rafinha. Plenty of players in and around the 6-yard box. The ball goes towards the back post, just outside of the 6-yard box, headed away by Cher. Still just inside of Newcastle's half, taken outside of the area by Araujo. Now over to the right-hand side, and it's run back by Livramento, and a breakaway now for Newcastle. A wonderful tackle. Livramento gets another ricochet, and it's out to the left-hand side for Newcastle, but Livramento's down in a bit of pain. It was a tackle by Rashford, who did well to get back and win it back. I think it was more the awkward landing for Livramento. It is a good tackle. Timed well by Marcus Rashford. Yeah, it's definitely the landing that's hurt Livramento there. Good tackle by Marcus Rashford, and it's good to see him doing his defensive duties, something that people from his days at Manchester United would have argued weren't quite as common as they have been in the opening 26 minutes of this game. Livramento making his way back to the left-hand side of defence. As we get a throw in now for Barcelona. Koundé to take. Goes down the line in search of Lewandowski, headed down by Byrne. Now with Livramento, receives a nudge in the back and a free kick in Newcastle's favour from by the touchline on the left-hand side. Livramento will again take it. He's got a short option there in Tonali, retrieves the ball. Now to Joe Linton under pressure, and Tonali's tripped as he plays the ball and starts to make a run. A free kick's been given to Newcastle. Tonali feels that a yellow card should be given to Lopez. The referee disagrees. Now it's Guimaraes that will take this free kick. The referee just indicating that he has to drop the ball back a couple of yards. He's thrown it a little bit further forward than perhaps have liked. In the end, he plays it short to Joe Linton anyway. Now to Tonali, back to Joe Linton. Challenge made there by Pedri. And gives the ball to Dan Byrne. Now to Joe Linton, a very heavy pass for him to chase for Elanga. It's gone all the way through to Garcia. There's no way Elanga was in an onside position and getting to that ball. It's the right idea to let it run. Inside of the area now with Garcia. Garcia plays it upfield towards the halfway line. Headed down now for Rashford. Rashford looks for that through ball. Joe Linton this time committing the foul. At the halfway line. It's going to be a free kick in Barcelona's favour. And Joe Linton will receive a yellow card for the trouble, as Barcelona were starting to make a breakaway with the quick counter-attack. He pulled there on the collar. And a free kick was given. Goes back to Kabasi. Kabasi through the middle for Rashford. Has to play this all the way back to Araujo. Araujo inside of his own half. There's an option in the middle. It's now with De Jong. De Jong twisting and turning, forced back towards his own goalkeeper. Has to go there in the end with pressure from Tonali. And it's now with Garcia just outside of the 6-yard box. Drilled clearance from him. Lewandowski can't get a strong hold on it, but still plays the ball back to Pedri. Pedri's long ball over the top, searches for Rafinha on the right-hand side, headed away by Byrne, down towards Livramento on Newcastle United's left, into the middle, but it's a poor pass and it's with De Jong, and now to Rafinha. Rafinha dribbles this inside, plays it across to Rashford, but Trippier on hand to win it back. And now with Joe Linton down to the right-hand side, Elanga's going to make a run. There's options in the middle. Gordon feels like he's been tripped. Ball across towards Harvey Barnes, away by Koundé, back towards Elanga inside the area at the moment. Can Newcastle still make something for it? Plays it back to Guimaraes. Now back through to Elanga, inside of the area. Chips over into the middle from Elanga, headed away. Only as far as the edge of the area where it's going to be a foot race, but Tonali gets there. Onto the left-hand side. Cross comes in from Livramento into the 6-yard box, and Garcia collects it. Newcastle with another breakaway and a chance perhaps there to make something of it. Now away it goes from Garcia. Rashford tries to beat Trippier. It takes a deflection, but Rashford just keeps it in play. Now inside to Pedri. Pedri to the edge of the area, lines up a shot but can't get one away, goes back to Araujo, now to the left hand side for Rashford again, crossing towards the middle, evades everybody and it's out of play for a goal kick to Newcastle United. But Barcelona given as good as they've got so far in the opening half an hour, but Newcastle United still firmly in control of things. Nick Pope sends his players away before taking this goal kick. Took his time in doing so as well. Away it goes by Pope. Towards the left hand side again. Headed away now by De Jong towards Joelinton. Joelinton back inside to Pedri. Pedri to the right hand side now for Koundé. Koundé through the middle to Lewandowski. Lewandowski's tripped by Fabian Schär. He does get the ball away in the end, and Lewandowski's just telling the referee that's not the first time that he's committed a foul. We might see a yellow card now for Newcastle's number 5. Lewandowski's back to his feet. There's a bit of an argument coming from Fabian Schär, feeling that it was a harsh decision to go against him. No yellow card on this occasion. After he sends him back on his way, and he's back to the edge of his own area. Free kick taken short now by Koundé to Pedri. Tipped over to Rashford at the back post, headed back in towards the middle, away by Joelinton. It's a strong header away up towards the halfway line, controlled by Kabasi. Out to Koundé, inside to Kabasi again. Kabasi onto the left hand side for Araujo. Araujo out to the left hand side for Martin. Martin is the ball as it's gone out of play. As we have Araujo down on the ground. And they require physio attention at the moment. Newcastle's going on the right hand side, but I fully expect this to be a throw back into Barcelona's half, into their possession. Throwing it down to Elanga, who's played this ball back now to Kabasi, and Barcelona will continue with the ball being played across their back line. Now to Araujo towards the halfway line. Now to Kabasi, goes down by Gordon to the left for Martin. Martin dribbles this inside and makes a run up towards the halfway line. Through the middle for Lewandowski. Takes a touch into the halfway line. Goes back to Pedri. Rafinha has held his run. Koundé has as well, as Koundé retrieves the ball on the right hand side. Now for Rafinha. Into the middle for Pedri. And back to Rafinha again. Across it goes to De Jong. Just outside of the centre circle. Spots a run by Koundé at the back post, but opts to go to his left hand side instead. Now to Martin. Wide left for Rashford. Back inside. Now with Lopez. And now Martin. Now De Jong. De Jong across to Pedri. Pedri through the middle. First touch by Lewandowski. Nearly falls into the path there of Rafinha. Instead it's with Rashford. Now for Lewandowski. His shot's been blocked and punted away by Guimaraes. Back to the edge of the area now with Pedri. To the left hand side for Rashford. Just inside of the area. Crossing towards the middle. Headed away by Schär. Falls almost favourably to Rafinha, who somehow from just the edge of the 6-yard box gets the ball back to the left hand side for Rashford. Now for De Jong. Still with Barcelona in the ascendancy. Dribbles this inside from Pedri, now to Lewandowski. It's been cleared, back to the edge of the area. Back into the area now for Lewandowski. Shot from his left foot blocked. Falls to Pedri, sends into the side netting. And it's goal kick to Newcastle. And they'll just slow things down to kill the momentum that Barcelona have made a lot of effort to build. Lewandowski's effort is Burn and Schär and Livramento to an extent as well. And just at the very end there, Trippier as well, throwing themselves in front of every shot that's going their way. Newcastle will have the goal kick. It's Fabian Schär this time that goes up towards the halfway line with the goal kick. It's bounced over Joel Linton, chased down by Barnes, away by Koundé, headed back down by Joel Linton towards Harvey Barnes. Over into the middle towards Anthony Gordon, controlled well though by Pedri. Out to Koundé on the right hand side. After it's taken a touch off Joel Linton, it's going to be a throw in for Barcelona. It's going to be a throw in on the right hand side for Koundé. Goes it back into the middle to Pedri, back to Koundé. It's too heavy of a pass though, and it's come off of the right back and out of play for a throw into Newcastle on the left hand side. Livramento's there to take it, which allows Newcastle to send more players further forward. Goes back to Tonali. Nice control from Tonali into Guimaraes. Turns on the ball, he's dispossessed to Rashford. Through the middle for Lewandowski, who's waiting for support. He's now closed down by Guimaraes. Still has Rashford to his right hand side, up to go instead to Pedri. Back inside for De Jong. Barcelona back in Newcastle territory. De Jong now back to Pedri. Still has Koundé wide right. Finds the pass to him. Rafinha through the middle. Lewandowski's in the box as well. An awkward cross to deal with there from Byrne, but he does well. Back up towards the halfway line, but it is Barcelona possession. Now Koundé into his own half with a pass to Araujo. And now to Kabasi inside of the centre circle. And now Pedri. Pedri looks out to his left for Martin. Now Rashford and back to Pedri again. Now De Jong. To the right hand side finds Rafinha. Rafinha dribbles this past two and then plays it to his left anyway. Now with Pedri. Pedri over to Kabasi. Now for Rashford. And now Lopez. Back to De Jong. Across to Pedri. Midfield just holding on to possession at the moment for Barcelona, as they have done since they've gained some composure. Now with De Jong to Rashford, takes it into the area. Can he get a shot away? Tries to beat Trippier, takes it too far to the left hand side. Too cute of an angle to get a shot away. It's taken a touch from Trippier, and now to Livramento, who's going to dribble this down the line. Tackle comes in from Koundé and wins it back now for Barcelona in a very dangerous position. Back heel to Pedri, across the middle to De Jong. Can he get a shot away? No, he can't. He's closed down almost immediately by Joel Linton. Still on the edge of the area at the moment with Rafinha. Onto his left foot, tries to dribble it inside to get a shot away, and he's tripped by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's going to be a free kick on the edge of the area in a very dangerous position for Barcelona as we come up towards the final 7 minutes of regular time at the end of this first half. After a very bright start, Newcastle have really been put through their paces this last 25 minutes or so. On the back foot again, with a couple of Barcelona players stood over this free kick. Nick Pope just sorting his wall, adjusting to where he wants it. Moving himself back across. 3 players in the wall at the minute. Langer operating almost as a spare player in that area. Rafinha is the one that stood over this free kick. Rashford is as well, but I fully expect it to be the former that's going to take this. And the referee's whistle. It is Rafinha, sends it goalwards just over and into the crowd, and it's going to be a goal kick now for Newcastle United. Rafinha looks almost surprised that hasn't hit the target. It's up and over Sandro Tonali, but Dan Burn being in that wall makes things very, very awkward for any player taking the free kick. It isn't very often that you see in those situations a player of that size, especially in the wall. You don't get to warm up and train against that sort of effect, but makes things awkward and difficult. It's worked in Newcastle's favour on this occasion. Nick Pope now with the goal kick. Dan Burn stood on the edge of the area, but he's got the ball inside the 6-yard box as the Newcastle players are told to move away. Pope to take the goal kick up into the opposition half, headed away by Martin, then headed back into Barcelona's half by Kieran Trippier. Now for Tonali onto the left hand side, finds some space for Harvey Barnes. Barnes up against Koundé, dribbles this inside, catches him on the wrong foot. Now for Livramento making the run down the left hand side by the corner flag. Back to Harvey Barnes, gets there first, and the referee said that is a corner for Newcastle United. And as much as Koundé is saying the referee's got it wrong, the referee is pointed out that he's either got the ball or he's got the player. So it's a corner for Newcastle United. It's a change of taker. Anthony Elanga goes across this time. Dan Burn goes and stands on Garcia inside of the 6-yard box as now the referee goes across to talk to him. We haven't made contact with the goalkeeper just yet, as referee's now been spoken to by Robert Lewandowski. He's just telling the players to leave it be. Now we will get to see the corner taken. Elanga in towards the middle, punched away by Garcia to Rashford at the edge of the area. Rashford's ball away. Trippier retrieves at the halfway line with plenty of time. Long ball over the top, back to the left-hand side. Dan Burn's still there, heads it on into space. Joe Linton's going to close this down to Harvey Barnes, who's let it run all the way through to Elanga, who controls this by the touchline. Inside now to Livramento. Cross goes in towards the middle, headed away. Up towards the halfway line. Fabian Schär gets the ball back into Barcelona's half now. Takes an awkward bounce and it's flicked on by Joe Linton again into space for Barnes. Through the middle it goes, but the flag goes up against Joe Linton and we'll have a free kick to Barcelona just outside of their area. It will be Araujo to take. Has left it and he's walked away, and Barcelona have now all gone up towards the halfway line as Garcia prepares to take the free kick. Plays it short to Araujo. Araujo now to De Jong. Now for Lopez. Down the right hand side finds Rafinha. Lopez continues his run through the middle. Gets the ball back, but he's closed down by Byrne and by Sandro Tonali and loses out on possession. Tonali through to Joe Linton, now onto the right hand side for Kieran Trippier, and still a chance for Newcastle to perhaps break away. Now to Elanga on the right hand side, takes this to the edge of the area, a couple of step overs, dribbles it inside, lays this ball back to Guimaraes, has time to take a touch instead, puts a first time cross into Harvey Barnes, who's let it run all the way through to Anthony Gordon. Gordon on the edge of the area, onto his left foot, crosses blocked. Flag has now still stayed down, so it's going to go out for a corner for Newcastle on the left hand side. Can they get themselves on the score sheet just before half time with the cheers and the roars of the Magpie supporters? Well, cross goes Elanga again to take the in-swinging corner as Byrne and Schär come up from the back. Trippier, the only player back for Newcastle United at the moment, in and around the centre circle. Everybody else lurking on the edge of the area. Everybody back at the moment for Barcelona as Elanga's going to try an in-swinging corner again. Dan Byrne's gone straight back to stand inside the 6-yard box with Garcia. Being pushed away at the moment by Koundé. In-swinging corner goes in towards the middle. It's headed away again. Livramento's going to chase this from the edge of the area. He's still got plenty of time though on the ball. And options as well. Cross goes in towards the middle. It's over everybody and into the arms of Garcia inside his 6-yard box. Anthony Gordon was slow to getting out there as he was contemplating whether to go back in and challenge for that cross. He would have been offside. Just moving out from them situations quicker. Now Koundé inside to Kabasi. Now Pedri back to Kabasi. And now De Jong out to Araujo. Inside of Newcastle's half at the moment. And now back to Pedri. Pedri back to the left hand side. Finds Martin. Martin goes all the way to his halfway line with Kabasi. Inside for De Jong. Nice little switch turn to his right hand side. With the pass to Martin. Dribbles this across the middle. Now for De Jong again. It's opened up some space for Martin to make the run. Instead he goes inside to Lopez. Lopez tries to get the pass off to Marcus Rashford. Takes the touch off of Bruno Guimaraes, and there's still a chance here for Newcastle United to break, but the tackle goes in from Martin, and Guimaraes is brought to the ground with what is known nowadays, I think, is more of a tactical foul. As we'll see, a yellow card there for Gerard Martin. Guimaraes just knocks the ball away, and it's, yeah, he's certainly stuck a leg out because Elanga was making the run down that right hand side. He had space to do so as well. And there was 2 minutes of added time at the end of the game. We'll have right now Free kick for Newcastle inside their own half, but the more pressing concern is Bruno Guimaraes still isn't back to his feet. He is receiving attention from the physio, which means he will be expected to leave the field. Lewis Miley, perhaps, as one of the options. Joe Willock could perhaps be an option, came off the bench at the weekend. There are multiple options available if Guimaraes does need to leave the field. But he's helped back to his feet now by Kieran Trippier. The referee's not actually told him to leave the field. He's gone into the opposition half now. As the physio has left and Guimaraes, albeit gingerly, is walking up into Barcelona's half. A very high line now from Barcelona. So Newcastle have a free kick about 10 yards into their own half outside the centre circle. Long ball over by Pope. The line was about 15 yards outside of the area. And they're expecting a big free kick, but a very high line from Barcelona. It's going to be chased down now by Dan Burn on that left-hand side. Clearance goes in from Koundé. The tackle goes in from Burn. Koundé's gone down holding on to his ankle. A free kick has been given in Barcelona's favour. Koundé is off the field holding on to his ankle. And Dan Burn's now going to receive a yellow card. That doesn't surprise me. We may get VAR intervention on this because of just how reckless that tackle could have been from Burn. Koundé goes back to the outside, takes it to the touchline, and as Burn stretches out his left leg, it's late. He's tried to block the clearance from Koundé, but as Koundé's got the ball away, he's taken a hit there on his right ankle. So I can understand the yellow card. I think it would be harsh to upgrade that to a red. In the grand scheme of things, it was definitely just a sticking your leg out to try and block the clearance, but Koundé he's really struggling back. He's back to his feet, but he's really struggling to get back onto the field. We might have to see a Barcelona change. He's limping onto the field. There is only a minute, if that, left. We might see this as a change at half-time for Barcelona. But he is limping back onto the field. And it'll be a free kick to Barcelona, and it will be taken by Garcia. It may well be the last kick of this first half. He plays it back to the touchline where the foul took place, as the referee tells him to. Garcia gets the ball upfield deep into Newcastle's half, headed away by Dan Burn onto the right hand side. Koundé now seems to be jogging much better than what he was. And goes to the technical area of Newcastle United to retrieve the ball before taking the throw, and throws it back into his own half towards Araujo, all the way back to Garcia, and there goes the half-time whistle. The opening 10 minutes for Newcastle United was pure energy, closing down Barcelona, keeping them at bay, not allowing them to get out from the back. That energy started to wear as Barcelona found some momentum and got themselves into the game. It is still goalless at half-time. Newcastle have had the better of the two chances between the two sides. Barcelona, however, have been in full control from a possession standpoint. It has been, I dare say, evenly matched in this first half. Newcastle United 0, doesn't look like there's been a change in this Newcastle side either, as Tonali does exactly what I've just said he might do, and he's played the ball over the top of everybody now to play for a goal. Just to remind you of the lineup for Newcastle: it is Pope, Trippier, Schär, Byrne, Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton, Barnes, Gordon and Elanga. For Barcelona it's Garcia, Koundé, Araujo, Kabasi, Martin de Jong, Pedri, Rafinha, Lopez, Rashford and Lewandowski. Now Barcelona have got themselves a goal kick as a result of the throw-in that just took place a few seconds ago. It'll be Garcia to take this. Again, Eddie Howe now just instructing his players to move further up the field to close these short passing lanes out. Very short now to Kabasi, out to the left-hand side for Martin, and the same intensity that started the first half is what Newcastle are going to start the second half with, as down the line it goes to Rashford, who's up against Kieran Trippier. Rashford leans into him, goes down and wants a free kick. The referee's given nothing for it. Instead it's going to be a Newcastle United throw-in. Trippier takes this short to Tonali, back to Trippier, but it's not gone directly to his intended target, and now it's a Barcelona throw-in. To be taken by Martin. Back it goes to Kabasi, all the way back to Garcia, who's been closed down by Anthony Gordon. He gets the clearance away just in time. He left that slightly late. It's gone up the field, headed down by Byrne to Livramento, making that run down the left-hand side, finds the overlapping run by Harvey Barnes. His cross is blocked. It's going to be a corner out on the left-hand side for Newcastle. And we're less than 2 minutes into the second half before they've managed to get one. It's going to be Elanga to take the throw-in. In swinging corner from the left-hand side. Right-footed cross on its way. Byrne and Gordon both in the 6-yard box again. Schär's just outside of the 6-yard box at the moment. And it goes towards the middle, headed goalwards, just wide by Joelinton, just outside of the left-hand post of Garcia, who was nowhere in the area of it. Joelinton, who's been held onto by Pedri, just tried to flick it on towards the back post and couldn't get it into the corner of the goal. Now short to his right hand side for Koundé. Livramento closes down. Koundé struggles to get the clearance away. It's back off Livramento, off the shin of Koundé, and it's going to be a throw into Newcastle now on the edge of the area on the left hand side. And he's got options making their way into the box, so we expect this to be a long throw into the area again. With Byrne on the edge of the 6-yard box, that's exactly what's going to happen. Towards him, and it goes towards Byrne, flicks this on in towards the middle, it's headed towards Joelinton and just wide, and it's kept in play by the goalkeeper just before it goes out of play for a corner. Away it goes now upfield to be chased down by Rafinha. It takes a couple of bounces and goes all the way through into the very grateful arms of Nick Pope. Trippier and Livramento running towards him as well as Rafinha. Now to Tonali. To Elanga, back to the middle for Tonali, who's got plenty of space, back to Elanga, who can't get onto the end of it. He goes all the way through to Garcia, who again will take his time in possession just outside of the 6-yard box. Pick this up and take it towards the penalty area. Take a long punt away, put down towards the midfield area for Lopez. Lopez now lays this off for Pedri into Newcastle's half. Nice little back heel falls to Newcastle players. He does go back towards his own goal, however. Now De Jong, very heavy pass from De Jong towards Rafinha. He does eventually get the ball under control. And for Lewandowski, back through the middle for Rafinha to chase. Clearance falls to Rashford, sends it goalwards, takes a deflection, and it's going to be a corner for Barcelona on the left-hand side. Got a Newcastle player down on the deck at the moment. I think it came off the head of Dan Byrne, that shot. Lovely play by Lewandowski, maybe a bit too much on the pass, but Livramento had to get there. It did, it came off the head there, but it's Fabian Schär that it came off the head of. Dan Byrne was already on the ground. came off the side of his head actually, and he's still down at the moment, is Fabian Schär. And we have got the physio on just checking on him at the moment. Rashford's gone back to the left hand side to take this corner, but we'll have a moment's pause just for now as Fabian Schär is being checked on by the club doctors and the staff. Going back to his feet now is Livramento. Just have a look at some of the other scores that are going on at the moment in the Champions League. Frankfurt lead Galatasaray by 3-1. Manchester City are goalless with Napoli. However, Napoli had a player sent off. Di Lorenzo was dismissed in the 21st minute. Sporting lead Kairat Almaty by 1-0. And as mentioned here at St James's Park, it is Newcastle 0, Barcelona 0 at the moment. And we will wait and see. There's a round of applause coming from the Newcastle bench. Just looking at the options that may be available at centre-half. I think the expectation is that if Fabian Schär does need to come off, Sven Botman would be the one to come on in his place, but Malik Dior could be one as well. A couple of options for Newcastle should they need to turn to the bench. Just been helped back to his feet as Fabian Schär by Kieran Trippier. And the referee's telling him that he needs to leave the field with the physio. He is walking unassisted at the moment. It's Fabian Schär, and that's good news for Newcastle United supporters and for the club in general. He's now jogging off the field, so he must have in some capacity at the very least. Past the concussion protocol. Corner taken short by Rashford. Gets it back now for Pedri. Pedri down the left hand side in towards Rashford again. Ilanga's there and gets the ball away. Only into the feet of Pedri at the halfway line. Now back to Koundé. Koundé all the way back to Garcia. Garcia with another couple of touches. It allows Newcastle to regroup. Plays this short now to Araujo. To Koundé, back inside to Koundé from the pass to Rafinha. And it is won back by Harvey Barnes. Back to Livramento. Inside to Schär now to Joe Linton. Well, Newcastle have made a bit of a change. It's not a substitution, but it is a change on the field as Livramento sends Ilanga down that right hand side. He looks for options in the middle and can't find one. Has to drop back. Joe Linton on the edge of the area plays the ball across. Tonali tries to get there. The tackle comes in and neither can get a shot away for Newcastle. It's still with Joe Linton now, though, onto the right for Ilanga. Can he get across into the middle? Yes, he can, in towards the back post, head away by Koundé. Back towards Ilanga by the corner flag. And then for Trippier. Trippier through the middle. Lovely pass, finds Guimaraes in the area. Tries to beat two. Plays it back for Tonali. Sends this goalward straight down the throat of Garcia, who holds onto the ball. Another round of applause comes from Newcastle supporters as again they're starting to threaten this Barcelona defence. They've really taken the game to them against what most people may have expected. Away it goes by Garcia, brought down by Joe Linton inside of Newcastle's half. Now for Tonali. Across it goes towards Gordon. Tackle comes in from Kabasi. Up towards the halfway line. Rashford lays this off for Pedri. Rashford continues his run, but Pedri will go solo through the middle. Tries to thread it through for the run of Rafinha, who's moved centrally. But away it goes by Fabian Schär, and it's going to be a throw into Barcelona on the left-hand side. Across comes Martin to take it. Throws it down to Kabasi. The change was Livramento and Trippier, all for a moment had switched sides. They've switched back again now. But at the time they had switched over with Livramento on the right and Trippier on the left. And they've opted to go back to how it started. Now for Rashford, plenty of space to turn on the ball, has the support there from Martin, back into the middle for Rashford. Gets way too much on the cross from the edge of the 6-yard box. It's gone out of play right beside the opposing corner flag as Rashford tried to get us cross into the box. The goal kick is going to be the outcome for Newcastle, as we see the England manager Thomas Tuchel in the stand, perhaps looking at players like Livramento, Pope, Gordon, even Marcus Rashford for that as well for his next England selection when get the next international break next month. Pope will take this goal kick as he pushes Shah away from it and sends it up towards the halfway line. Just in front of the post beside him. And away it goes by Nick Pope up towards the halfway line, headed on by Elanga. And away it goes by Martin. Doesn't get enough distance on it though. It's back towards Trippier. Misses out on the header not once but twice. Tries for it the third time and it's fallen to Guimaraes. Over the top it goes onto the left hand side for Harvey Barnes. Anthony Gordon is in the middle making the late run is Elanga. There's Guimaraes on the edge of the area as well. Barnes tries to set up a cross, it's blocked. It falls back to Livramento on the edge of the area and back to Harvey Barnes again. Up against Koundé now for Livramento. Back to Barnes by the touchline. Livramento's continued his overlapping run. His cross is blocked by Koundé and it's going to be a sixth corner of the evening for Newcastle United. It's out on the left hand side. Cross goes Elanga to take it. Elanga puts the ball down, sets it and leaves it for Kieran Trippier. So another change in corner taker. Guimaraes and Burns still inside the 6-yard box. Cher lurking outside of it. And it goes by Trippier. Headed goalwards. It's headed away and back to Rashford on the left hand side. His clearance has taken a touch off Livramento. There'll be a throw in on the left hand side now for Barcelona. Martin is in absolutely no rush to go across and take this. To his right hand side. Does have Kabasi. We'll just tell you Manchester City are now leading Napoli by a 1-0. Erling Haaland on the score sheet for the hosts in their Champions League opener. Newcastle win it back down the right hand side and it's now to Tonali. Tonali across to Guimaraes. He's dispossessed and it's now with Koundé on the right. Out to Rafinha and a breakaway now for Barcelona as Rafinha continues his drive forward. Takes it to the edge of the area inside of Byrne. Tries to beat him again. Takes it to the outside and Byrne falls to the floor after losing his footing. Rafinha's cross is then blocked by Cher. It's back to the edge of the area now with De Jong. Back to Koundé. Koundé's left foot cross in towards Rashford. Header goalwards into the bottom corner. And it is Barcelona that take the lead. It's a well-placed header from Marcus Rashford and he continues his fine goal-scoring form at St James's Park. Newcastle will feel it's harsh. They've been so strong defensively throughout this game, keeping Barcelona at bay, been very well disciplined. But it was lovely footwork on the right hand side from Rafinha that beat Dan Burn not once but twice. Burn then lost his footing as he got back to his feet. The ball was played back to the edge of the area and it was Koundé that got the cross in, left-footed cross in. Rashford in plenty of space at the penalty spot. He was in between Tonali and Cher. And Cher's header into the Rashford's header into the bottom corner beat Cher to the ball. And it is now Newcastle United 0, Barcelona 1. Straight over to the Barcelona supporters and the substitutes to celebrate. It's now his third goal in 7 games at St James's Park. He's also got 2 assists to his name with it as well. Well, from kick-off, Tonali plays it over the top to Koundé. And it gives possession straight back to Barcelona again. And he's played this out to the left for Rashford. Rashford with a breakaway inside to Pedri. Pedri takes it to the edge of the area. Drops the ball back now for De Jong. De Jong's efforts headed away. And it's going to be a corner again for Barcelona on the left-hand side. And immediately after Newcastle go a goal down, we will prepare to see a couple of Newcastle changes. Voltemade, Murphy and Willock are the 3 that are kitted up and ready to be introduced into the game. Swinging corner from Rashford on the left hand side. Anyway, headed away by Livramento, further away by Cher. Flag stayed down saying it's not crossed the line just yet. Now to Rashford, back to Pedri. Cross comes in towards the middle, headed away again as far as Koundé. About halfway into Newcastle's half, played short here, and then it's a ball over the top. It's going to be chased by Anthony Gordon. His Koundé's pass was poor and played straight into the path of Tonali. Out to the left-hand side for Martin. Martin now for Lopez. Lopez holds this up and inside to Pedri. Pedri to De Jong. And then back again. Now to De Jong again inside the centre circle. As the referee has pulled a halt to things, as Fabian Schär is now being seen to again by physio attention for the earlier head injury. And it happened around about 10 at a push 15 minutes ago. So there might be an additional change here. Malik Dior's getting ready to come on as well. So there might be 4 changes here for Newcastle, which might well upset the rhythm of things, but we'll see what Eddie Howe chooses to do. But Fabian Schär took a hit to the head from Marcus Rashford's shot that went out for a corner. He was one of the players that didn't quite go in towards the challenge with Rashford to win the header. And now he's sat down with the reoccurring head injury from earlier on when he blocked the shot. So perhaps maybe it was the wrong decision to leave him on the field. I think with of course, concussion protocol and any sort of head injuries, you have to take these extra precautions. And I think that was certainly the case here, and it's something that Newcastle United may want to double check over if it is a case of Schär is coming off. But Dior is ready, so I'll be very surprised if he isn't one of the players that's about to leave the field. He's been assisted now to the side. Hopefully nothing serious, but he may have missed a step or two in the game since he took that head injury. That's resulted in him leaving the field. Harvey Barnes is another one that's being substituted. We'll go to the side. Interesting to see if it's going to be Anthony Elanga that leaves the field for Jacob Murphy, or if it's going to be Anthony Gordon. Now, previously, with Murphy playing on the right-hand side, it would be just as easy to take off Elanga. And it is Elanga, so Gordon will, therefore, I assume, move out to the right-hand side. So Joelinton, Barnes, Schär and Elanga, Schär, Joelinton and Barnes all substituted. Just gathering my bearings with the 4 changes that have been made. And on in their place is Willock, Voltemade, Dior and Murphy. 4 changes for Newcastle, trailing Barcelona by a 1-0. All the way back to his goalkeeper with the pass comes Kabasi. Now to Garcia. No hesitation in getting the ball away, and it's headed by Byrne up towards the halfway line, brought down by Willock inside of the centre circle. Out to Tonali, now to the left hand side. There's Anthony Gordon. Murphy of course out on the right, Gordon on the left. Voltemade playing through the middle. And as Gordon's knocked the ball past Koundé, Koundé's impeded, and a free kick has been given to Newcastle United. And looking at the replay, I think that's harsh on Koundé. And we will have a free kick now for Newcastle United in a dangerous position, especially with Nick Voltemade up there and Dan Byrne, both extremely tall players, can be an aerial threat. Stood over the free kick is Sandro Tonali. Kieran Trippier moves away and back towards the halfway line. Tonali's cross goes in towards the middle, and it is caught by Garcia inside the 6-yard box, who holds on to the ball quite comfortably. Rolls this out now in front of him. De Jong turns, moves out to the right hand side for Koundé. Koundé over the top, going to be chased down by Rafinha, up against Livramento at the moment, takes it towards the corner flag. Couple of step overs, brings this back inside to Koundé, back heel to lay this ball off, but Livramento dispossesses, out to the left hand side for Gordon. Tackle comes in from Rafinha again, wins it back for Barcelona, cross into the middle, away it goes by Dior, back to the touchline with Gordon. Now Rafinha, inside it goes for De Jong, out to the left hand side for Rashford, run being made through the middle by Martin, still with Rashford wide left, inside for Pedri. Pedri goes back to the halfway line now with a pass to Araujo. And now De Jong to his left for Kabasi. Rashford. Now Tonali. Tries to get the tackle in there on Pedri, but Pedri comes away with the ball. Back to Rashford. And then Pedri again. And then all the way back for Kabasi. And then Araujo. And De Jong. Back for Rashford. Then inside for Martin. Tries to knock this on again, but Gordon comes away with it this time. Plays it to Voltemade, lays this off for Bruno Guimaraes, making the run. The tackle's made, and it's a throw into Newcastle on the right-hand side. Across comes Trippier to take it. Goes back to Nick Pope. And of course it goes to Burn. Burn under pressure here from Rafinha, who almost keeps that in play after putting the initial tackle in, but it's gone out of play for a throw in for Newcastle, and Livramento will go across and take it. We're after the hour mark, 65 minutes gone at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Barcelona 1 is the score. And I think at the moment, just because of how well Newcastle have been defensively, I dare say that a draw is perhaps the fair result between these two sides so far. Livramento's throw down the line, headed on by Gordon into the area of Voltemade, but away it goes first of all by Araujo into Newcastle territory. And down by Rafinha, but Fior's there to get it away. And then the header won by Araujo. Now for Rashford. Rashford on the edge of the area, lines up a shot. Can he get one away? Yes, he can, and it's into the corner. That is an unbelievable strike for Marcus Rashford. From just outside of the area, he collected the ball on the left-hand side, found himself some space in the middle. And if you need a performance to sell the reason why you should be in the next England squad in front of the current England manager, Marcus Rashford is certainly showcasing that now. Rashford collected this on the edge of the area from a poor clearance from Dan Burn. Onto his right-hand side, beat Tonali and got the shot away across Nick Pope into the corner. And that is 2 for Marcus Rashford, who just loves to score at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Barcelona 2. And it's definitely a different Marcus Rashford from what we've seen over the last couple of years at Old Trafford and with Manchester United in the Premier League. There's been a couple of situations where he's been tracking back as well. As it stands now, the Newcastle supporters, who have been so full of excitement, so full of enjoyment for this Newcastle United performance, are now being silenced by the travelling Barcelona supporters. And Newcastle will get things back underway. And it will be Tonali, and I wonder if he's going to do the same as he's done for the 2 kickoffs so far. He hasn't. Instead, he's gone back this time to Dan Burn. He's played it out to Livramento. Livramento to Gordon. Now inside for Tonali. Through to Voltemade, but the flag's gone up against him, and it's going to be a free kick to Barcelona from outside of their area. And we will now see the first change of the evening for Barcelona. We're just waiting to determine who it is that is leaving the field, as Ferran Torres is the one that is ready for coming on. It doesn't look like it's going to be a like-for-like change, as Torres does come onto the field. Well, it might actually be a like-for-like change, as Andre Christensen's now coming on as well. So Christensen is coming on in place of Pau Kabasi. So that will be a like-for-like change defensively. And Ferran Torres is coming on, and he's going to be replacing Robert Lewandowski. A bit more energy in that final third now from Barcelona, especially as we reach the final 20 minutes of regular time. It's all the way back to Christensen. Short pass up to the halfway line goes Lopez. Lopez tries to find a breakaway on that right-hand side for Rafinha, but the tackle's made by Anthony Gordon. It's going to be a throw-in inside of Newcastle's half, taken by Koundé, but he throws it back to Christensen anyway. And across it goes now to Araujo. Onto the left-hand side for Martin. Martin's ball down the line, searches for Rashford making the run, but Trippier's on hand to dispossess. Now inside for Tonali. And back it goes for Thiaw. Lovely turn by him, playing with confidence at the moment. Out to Trippier, over the top towards Guimaraes. First touch lays this down for Tonali. Has to stretch to get the ball, but does so. Over the top down the right-hand side. Jacob Murphy now with his first touch of the game. Was a very wayward cross into the box, and Anthony Gordon's going to have a job to keep it in. He gets to the ball, but can't keep it in. And it's going to be a goal kick now to Barcelona. Crazy decision in that situation for Jacob Murphy to put a cross into the box. It looked like there was nobody there to support him. We'll just get to see a replay of Marcus Rashford's thunder strike into the top corner. Takes a hit off the crossbar as well, perfectly placed away from Pope. And now it's with Newcastle again in midfield. Tonali tries to find Gordon, but away it goes by Christensen, deep back into Newcastle's half, all the way through it goes to Pope. Pope rolls this out to his right hand side now with Thiaw. Thiaw goes back to Pope again. First touch takes us to the edge of the area, switches this out left for Livramento. Down the line it goes towards Willock. Willock with a couple of touches dribbles this inside out to the right to try and find Murphy, but it's too easy for Martin. Martin plays this now in the middle for Lopez. Lopez unleashes a counter-attack on the right with Rafinha. Rafinha now with a chance on the right-hand side. Dribbles it up against Livramento at the moment. Back onto his left foot. Dribbles it inside. Puts it onto his favoured left foot. Sends it just wide. Goal kick Newcastle. Another good chance that was coming Barcelona's way, and it's first time ball over the top. And it's the width that's being utilised at the moment by Barcelona. These wingers, both Rashford and Rafinha, are having a lovely time of it. Just can't quite get enough around the ball to wrap it into the bottom corners. The goal kick's taken short by Pope to Thiaw. His clearance away is headed down by De Jong. Now to Pedri, back to De Jong. Young over the top for Ferran Torres to chase. It takes a bounce and goes all the way through past Nick Pope. And out of play for a goal kick to be taken. Goal kick goes out to the left-hand side. It's all the way out of play. Anthony Gordon nor Nick Voltemade can keep that in play. It's taken by Koundé. Inside of Newcastle's half. Goes this back now to Christensen. Now to Araujo. Out to the left-hand side for Martin. Martin by the touchline lets it run across his body. Pass inside though goes directly towards Kieran Trippier. Out to the right towards Jacob Murphy. Trippier tries to get to the second attempt. Wins a throw-in for his side. Nobody's urgency has allowed Trippier to take this throw-in quickly. He eventually throws it down the line for Voltemade inside of the area. He's up against a couple of Barcelona defenders. He's had to take it back to the touchline. Brings it back inside now for Joel Linton. And inside for Voltemade again. Up towards Tonali. Headed down. Cleared away by Araujo. Into Newcastle's half, brought down by Byrne. Across it goes to Willock. And now Thiaw. Out to the left-hand side for Livramento. That's Gordon for support down that left-hand side, but Livramento drives forward with purpose. Back to Gordon anyway. Continues his run as Gordon dribbles this inside. Tries to line one up onto his right foot. Dribbles it past another player through the middle for Voltemade. First touch lays off for Guimaraes. Sends it goalwards. It's tipped away by Garcia. He stops it from going out of play for a corner anyway. Parried it away. It just took a bit of a sting out of it. Wasn't going behind for a corner, just diverted it away from goal. Away it goes now by Garcia. Lovely first touch by Rashford. Turns on the ball and gets the run of Trippier. Continues down the left-hand side. Into the area he goes, up against Trippier at the moment. Well recovered by the Newcastle fullback, who's down at the moment holding on to his knee. As Tonali tries to beat his man. Trippier struggling to get back to his feet. Looks like he's in a bit of pain, as Pope's trying to help him back to his feet. A free kick has now been given to Newcastle for a ball back by Fermin Lopez, who will receive a yellow card as well. Trippier just trying to have the cramp relieved by Dan Burn. Doesn't look like it is going to be achievable. Perhaps this is where we will see Lewis Hall into the game if Trippier does need to go off. I imagine Livramento will move across to the right hand side. Trippier is back to his feet and he's just pulling his socks up. Just been spoken to by the referee. It's on the edge of the area where Newcastle have this free kick. We're going to see another Newcastle change. It is Trippier going off, but we're not going to see Lewis Hall on. Instead, as Trippier leaves the field, we're going to see Emil Kraft coming on in his place. And perhaps a change of formation for Newcastle. A change of approach to 2 goals down with 15 minutes left to go in the game. It's not Emil Kraft that's coming on, it's Sven Botman that's coming on in his place. Now Murphy on the right hand side. Murphy's cross is blocked. It's come back to Murphy again. Let this run out of play for a throw in for Newcastle on the right hand side. So it certainly is a change to 3 at the back with Botman, Byrne and Thiaw now. Now it's with Botman out to Byrne. Byrne down the line for Livramento. Finds some space here for Anthony Gordon. He's in plenty of space on the edge of the area, but his touch is too heavy. He's put it into the path of Koundé and welcomed the tackle. It's going to be a Newcastle thrown on that left hand side now. Koundé's outstretched right leg, he's now holding on to his calf area. His right calf and his left knee at the moment. And we're going to see a couple of Barcelona changes. Perhaps this is going to be one of them. Danny Olmo's getting ready to come on. He'll be one of the changes. So we can see who else is going to be coming off. Barcelona are going to wait. They're not going to make this change just yet. Defending a throw-in which is as good as a set piece, with Livramento's ability to throw the ball the distance into the 6-yard box. Byrne and Voltemade both around there. Going taken by Livramento. Headed on by Voltemade again, up towards Gordon. Headed away though, only as far as Livramento on the edge of the area. Cross comes back in again. Headed down by Willock. Further away though by Rashford, only into Jacob Murphy territory. On the edge of the area, Murphy on the right hand side. Cross comes in towards the middle and it's held onto by Garcia inside the 6-yard box. Newcastle still trying to get a goal back, give themselves some hope into this last 10 minutes of perhaps finding themselves an equaliser. Of course, still at this stage it does go on points, so they both get a point if Newcastle can get themselves back into it. That is a big if, it's a big ask at the moment. They have struggled in that final third. Now Pedri and Lopez, back to Pedri and Lopez back on the edge of his area, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Garcia just outside of the 6-yard box plays this out to Koundé. Koundé through the middle, now with De Jong. De Jong by the touchline, now for Koundé again, back for De Jong. Now Pedri up towards the halfway line, takes it into the centre circle onto the left hand side for Martin. Martin back inside for Pedri. Now with Christensen to Martin. Now Rashford. He's going inside, but it's collected by Livramento. That ball away, but it's well read by Christensen. It's back to Rashford again on the left hand side, but this time the tackle's made by Murphy. Now for Guimaraes. Now for Voltemade. He's looked to the left hand side for Livramento, who's offered their support. Gordon's making a run down the left hand side, but it's won back by Koundé. Now for Rafinha to make a run inside for Rashford. Referee's given advantage despite Rafinha being pulled to the ground as Barcelona continue with the ball. Now plays it back to Pedri, and they just slow things down for the moment. Now to De Jong. Young out left for Olmo. And then back inside again. Now Torres. And across it goes for Christensen. Now for Araujo. Inside of the centre circle, inside his own half. Now Koundé through the middle, finds some space here. Ball over the top, Rashford's going to chase it, chest down into the area. Can he get the shot away? He's been brought down. The referee's waved away the cause of a penalty for Ferran Torres. And Newcastle come away with the ball. He collided with 2 Newcastle players, so there might be a VAR check on it. Over the top it goes, chased down by Gordon. Goes up against Koundé at the moment, who wins it back for Barcelona. And Gordon just couldn't seem to get the ball out from under his feet. Inside now to Pedri. Pedri at the halfway line. We've still got a Barcelona player down on the floor at the moment, and it is Marcus Rashford inside the centre circle. Inside of Newcastle's half. Ferran Torres just telling the referee that he thought he should have had a penalty. The referee waved him away, told him to leave him alone. If anything, I think it will be a case of VAR will have a look at this. But the ball that was over to Rashford was pushed down. He's back up to his feet now, and I think he's one of the players that's going to be substituted just before Barcelona get this free kick. The other one is going to be Gerard Martin. Gerard Martin off, and Marcus Rashford off are the 2 changes. So he will not be getting a hat-trick in his return back to England. Play against Newcastle United. There's Garcia and Olmo that are on. So Eric Garcia and Dani Olmo will be the changes that have been made for Barcelona. See now with Olmo getting his first touch. Goes back 5 yards with a pass there to Pedri. He helps it on its way back to Garcia. Out short to Koundé. Dispossessed now by Willock. A tackle that has been made by Frankie de Jong. He's worthy of a yellow card, says the referee. And the referee's controlled this game quite well as Glenn Nyberg made some very good decisions. Of course, the free kick to Newcastle means the decision to waive away the penalty claims from Ferran Torres was the right ones. But a free kick in a dangerous position now for Newcastle United. Stood over, it's Anthony Gordon. Bruno Guimaraes is there as well, as is Livramento. Gordon steps away to make an option on the left. Baldomade goes into the area. Still Livramento stood over this as well though. Played short to Gordon. On the edge, Gordon gets across him, but it's taken a deflection on its way. It's held up slightly, and Pedri heads it away from the edge of the area. And Guimaraes switches this out to the right-hand side. It's headed away by Christiansen, only towards Murphy. Murphy then tries to beat his man and continues down the right-hand side. Can bring this inside, threads it through, but it's blocked out by Christiansen, who followed him. Laid off now to Pedri. First time pass to Rafinha, over the top to Torres. Torres' first touch holds this up. Tries to lay it off for Olmo, but it's won back by Thior. And out to Murphy on the right-hand side, and it's with Newcastle now. He's turned on the ball and ran into 3 Barcelona players. And it's not done him any favours as possession goes back to Barcelona with Eric Garcia. Garcia into his own half now to Araujo. And across to Christiansen. And back to Garcia again in goal. So his first touch takes this outside of the area and gets the ball away before Baldomade can do too much damage. Handed away by Byrne towards Tonali, brought down by Pedri again. Pedri with a space to move into still. Plays it back to de Jong. As it goes now to Olmo. And to Eric Garcia. Back through the middle for de Jong. Barcelona just happy to hold on to possession at the moment. Into the left hand side. Eric Garcia. Down the line for Ferran Torres. And back to Garcia, all the way back to his goalkeeper, Joan Garcia. Played out short to Christiansen. Down the line it goes. First touch by Olmo. Late tackle on Eric Garcia, and a free kick from by the touchline on the left-hand side now in Barcelona's favour. Last 6 minutes of regular time, plus any added time the referee chooses to add on at the end of this half, perhaps 2, maybe 3 minutes. I think it might be asking a bit too much of Newcastle at the moment. It seems to have carried much momentum that they started either of the halves with this deep into the game. The slip there comes from de Jong, but he gets the pass off to Rafinha anyway. Now for Koundé, back to Rafinha. Let's that go past Tonali. Rafinha through the middle. First touch lays this off again to Ferran Torres. Back to Rafinha, who can't get a shot away from the edge of the area. Now with Pedri. Pedri through the middle for De Jong. Onto the right hand side for Olmo. Now for Koundé. Koundé's got some space, but he's quickly closed down by Livramento. Back to the halfway line. The passing is going now from Barcelona. This is a Barcelona side that you could say that you're very familiar with. Now Torres is bundled to the ground by the substitute Theo. And a free kick for Barcelona, halfway between the edge of the area and the halfway line. And it's a short free kick taken by De Jong, goes back to Pedri. Nothing being risked at the moment by the visitors. Now on the right hand side, it's with Willock. Willock turns back inside, finds the pass to Murphy. Then to Tonali, and that's an awful pass from Tonali to spread the play to the left hand side. Searches for Anthony Gordon but can't get the ball to him. Now on the left hand side, over the top it goes from Olmo. Searches for Ferran Torres, headed away though by Bruno Guimaraes. Back into Barcelona's possession. Then on the right, Rafinha and De Jong try and get the pass away, but instead it's with Livramento now, who wins it back. Goes for Tonali. Now Botman. Now Byrne. Out for Livramento. Burns continue to run down the left hand side, moving to more of a left winger role at the moment as the pass has gone back to Botman again. Now for Guimaraes into the edge of the area for Theo. Switches this to the left hand side for Livramento, who's in space. It can go up towards the halfway line. Down the left hand side it goes for Gordon, up against Koundé at the moment. As support inside, gives it to Willock. Willock can turn on the ball, find some space to move 5 yards further forward. Still has supporting options. On the left hand side he still has Gordon, but Gordon's made a late run. Willock's had to go inside, maybe done too much. Yes he has, and Barcelona come away with the ball here with Pedri. Onto the left hand side and a breakaway now for Olmo. Takes this centrally, so he's still got support on the left hand side, and Olmo moves through the middle. Out to Rafinha on the right hand side into the area, onto his left foot, twists and turns, back onto his left foot. Can't get a shot away, Olmo can, and he sends it over. That's a chance that goes begging for Barcelona to perhaps make it 3. I think the question is why Joe Willock was taking so much time to try and dribble it past so many Barcelona players when he got support options there for him, as Dan Burn lays this off for Anthony Gordon, continues his run. Now for Voltemade, up against Araujo at the moment. He's pushed away and the referee gives a free kick for it inside of Barcelona's half. Free kick taken quickly now from Botman to Burn. On the left hand side, Burn continues his run down the left, turns back on the ball, and inside it goes to Guimaraes. Back in towards his own half. Guimaraes takes it centrally, ball over the top to the right hand side, goes too much in the middle, and it's gone all the way through to the Barcelona goalkeeper. Then Garcia will stop it from going out of play for a goal kick, nor will he pick the ball up, which means he will wait for some pressure. Waldemade will do just that as it's picked up by Garcia inside the 6 yard box. Can take this to the edge of the area now with a minute and a half left to go at the end of this game, plus any added time. Garcia gets the ball out from under his feet, headed on by Torres into a space where there's no Barcelona players, and it's collected by Malik Thiaw. Now to Botman through the middle for Guimaraes. Heavy first touch, but gets there and makes up for it on the second by spreading the ball out right, but it's just behind where Jacob Murphy was making his run, and it's a throw in now for Barcelona on that left hand side. It's going to be taken again by Eric Garcia. Short to Olmo, whose first touch plays it back to Garcia, but it's gone wayward, and it's going to be a throw to Newcastle now on the right hand side. Across comes Livramento to take it, goes it to Guimaraes, back to Livramento again, and back to Botman, and now Tonali, and Guimaraes, and back to Guimaraes on the right hand side, finds Murphy, there's options in the middle, plays it across the middle towards Gordon, who's put it into the bottom corner, and Newcastle have one back with 30 seconds of regular time left to go. Finally, a ball across the middle that pays off for Newcastle United, and it's Anthony Gordon that gets himself on the score sheet. Murphy finds some space on the right-hand side. Ball played across the middle. Gordon gets goal side of his marker. And it looks to me like he is onside. Gordon is most certainly onside. It's whether Murphy was onside in the build-up, but it's a lovely finish by Gordon into the bottom corner. The only place he can play the ball in which he would not, the goalkeeper would not have been able to get to it from that short of an angle. But he's on the score sheet nonetheless. It is now Newcastle United 1, Barcelona 2. Gordon places the ball back on the centre circle, and we go again with 7 minutes of added time for Newcastle to perhaps get themselves and rescue a point in the game. Barcelona get a free kick now inside of Newcastle's half for a foul from Tonali. And the referee's just pointed to his watch saying he is stopping the clock while this is happening, but there's 7 minutes of added time given. A bit of hope for these Newcastle supporters on the return back to the Champions League. Stood over the free kick is Pedri. He's got players to his right, players to his left, one player ahead of him, and he's played it to Torres, just a few yards ahead of him, and it's away it goes by Thior, up towards Valdemade, who can't keep control of possession. Now onto the left-hand side for Garcia, has to go back towards his own half. It's been let run, and it's the throw-in to Newcastle, to Barcelona after it's taken a touch on its way through, and Pedri has let it run. And it's going to be taken by Eric Garcia, who's slowing things down just in front of the Newcastle bench at the moment, much to the disappointment there of Eddie Howe. He throws it short in the end to Olmo. A weak pass back. Jacob Murphy gets there and wins it back for Newcastle, but a free kick's been given against Newcastle. Jacob Murphy with the tackle, and a free kick's been given in Barcelona's favour, and Guimaraes is just pushing away Tonali and Valdemade while he goes over and speaks to the referee as the captain. I think that's a very harsh decision to give against Jacob Murphy, but the referee's given it nonetheless, and it's a Barcelona free kick by the touchline on the left-hand side, and it's going to be taken again by Eric Garcia. We'll see another change now from Barcelona just to shore things up, and that's Marc Casado will be coming on in just a few moments' time. Through the middle, chased down by Torres. Botman up against him at the moment. Botman lets the ball out of play by the big strength battle. Going to be a goal kick now for Pope to take. Still has Botman as a short option to his right-hand side. 2 of the 7 have been played so far. And now we'll see this change for Barcelona, and now we'll see the introduction of Marc Casado. And he's going to be coming on in place of Fermin Lopez. Has done quite a lot of creativity in that final third, got himself very much involved in the game, played an integral part in the assist for Marcus Rashford. I'm just seeing a yellow card has been distributed, and I'm not quite sure who this yellow card has gone to, because if it's gone to Casado coming on for wasting time, then fair. If it's gone to Lopez going off, then that should have been a red card. The referee's let it go anyway. He's shown a yellow card. Is now on the edge of the area. It's with Rafinha on the right-hand side. Drags this ball back for Koundé. Onto the edge of the area with Pedri. Decides not to have a shot away. Instead goes to Koundé again on the right-hand side. Now for Rafinha. Back to De Jong. Down the right-hand side. It's been picked up by Torres just before it gets through to Koundé. And Barcelona still in possession at the moment. And away it goes by Tonali. Out onto the left-hand side. Gordon makes a run for it and gets there ahead of Araujo. Drags this back inside, but it's a poor pass as it goes straight into the path of Pedri, whose first touch is too heavy, and Pedri knocks the ball away. Tries to get into the slide tackle, but loses out, and now it's back with Livramento anyway. Plays it back to Tonali. Tonali twisting on the ball to take this out to the right-hand side, and the referee's given a throw-in against him, and it's a throw-in now on the right-hand side for Barcelona as Anthony Gordon's limping away down the touchline. I think Newcastle are out of all their changes as well, so they're going to have to carry on with what they've got, as Gordon is struggling out on that left-hand side. Pedri's now pulled to the ground, and a free kick to Barcelona inside of their own half, and they'll take the time in doing so. Plays this short to Rafinha. Rafinha goes all the way back to Christiansen. Christiansen helps it on its way to Garcia. Closed down by Voldemade. Away it goes. Up towards the halfway line. Tonali feels pushed. The referee's given nothing for it, and Rafinha breaks away on the right-hand side. He's up against Dan Burn at the moment. Takes this into the area. He's got support in the middle. Plays the ball back to Olmo. Shot saved well by Nick Pope, who had to really readjust to his left-hand side. And away it goes by Botman. It's a throw-in now for Barcelona on the right-hand side. Saved well by Pope to his low left. He was almost moving to his right. Let's get there and readjust very quickly. Good reactions, quick reactions as well. Now for Rafinha. Plays it back towards the halfway line for Koundé. Koundé now for Araujo. And across to Christiansen inside the centre circle. And now Pedri. Pedri down the line for Rafinha. Plays a 1-2 with Torres, and Rafinha gets the ball back. Inside it goes now to Olmo. Back to the right hand side with Koundé. And now De Jong. A minute and a half left to go. Onto the edge of the area. Ferran Torres lines one up. It's taken a deflection over. Going to be another corner for Barcelona as we enter into the final minute of this added time. I don't know how much the referee may want to add on due to the substitution that was made by Barcelona. I think it was actually Hansi Flick that was given a yellow card when making the change. Doesn't appear to have been any of the substitutes. The player coming on or going off, as Rafinha will take the in-swinging corner, but I imagine this will go 2 yards ahead of him to Dani Olmo. And it's done just that, as Olmo plays it back to Rafinha, and Barcelona hold on to possession even longer. Rafinha gets it back inside the area, sends it low and hard. It's held on to by Pope inside the 6-yard box, rolled out to his right-hand side now, and a chance for Newcastle to maybe break away with 30 seconds left to go, and it's with Dior. He's been held on to and he's been pulled to the ground, much to the uproar, and now Casado's been shown a yellow card. As Dior was starting to make a breakaway, he just pulled onto the shirt. To make sure he weren't able to break away, and now Newcastle sending everybody they've got forward. Nick Pope will take this free kick. Dan Burns up there, Willock's up there, Voldemade, Dior, Botman, everybody's up there at the moment. The free kick is taken by Pope to the edge of the area, headed onto the left-hand side. Away it goes by Koundé, controlled by Livramento. Still by the touchline, tackles made, kept in play as well. Down the line for Rafinha, his pass has been blocked. It looked to me like it had been kept in play. The referee's now given a throw-in for Newcastle on that left-hand side. As Livramento goes across to take it, it's going to be a long throw into the box. Can Newcastle salvage something right at the end of the game? They very much deserve a point out of this game for the effort and the battle they've put in against Barcelona. One of the strongest sides in Europe as ever. Long throw into the box from Livramento, headed on by Byrne. It's fallen back to Byrne, onto the edge of the area, sent goalwards. It's low and hard, but it's held on to by Garcia inside the 6-yard box. After the low, hard, well-struck effort by Tonali. We've had a minute over the extra time. I believe this is where we'll see the full-time whistle. Away it goes by Garcia. And there goes the full-time whistle. A very resilient Newcastle United performance has been undone by minutes of wonder from Marcus Rashford. Two very, very good goals. Well taken. The second one more particular, just to believe the crossbar, has definitely given a conversation to be had about whether he is performing well enough to be called back up to an England side. Anthony Gordon pulled one back for Newcastle United, but it was too little, too late, with only 8 minutes left on the clock to try and rescue a point for Newcastle. But with a performance like that, they've a lot of positives to take, a lot to look forward to, but it has ultimately finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United